Pětka. 6, 4, 7.
Rezerva Bělorus 36 382.
Well, welcome back to NOVE MESTO. We are, of course, in the Czech Republic. This is round 3 of the Biathlon World Cup. Almost unbelievable to think that at the end of this weekend, we will be a third of the way through the World Cup races for the season. It's only just started. But, of course, you've got to add the World Championships to that, and that's going to be another 10 days of all-on action down in Austria. Hochfilzen, the host nation for the World Championships this year. Well, what a day it was for Martin Fourcade. He was somewhat elated with his success. Started hard. We're getting used to that, Mike. His first 10 seconds, I suspect, is quicker than anyone else. It'd be interesting to see. We could do with a split after the first 100 metres just to see who starts the fastest. An early miss for Martin Fourcade in the stand. We thought that might open the door, 12.6. But I think we were quite quick to point out that he closed a gap of 14 seconds last week in Pachuca. Amazingly, he's done exactly the same. And he had to do it on that uphill section.
He really did. Look at the way he's working, always intelligently following the fastest bit of the track. And he just managed to surpass Šepulin by 1.6 seconds.
So World Cup win number 54. Glad to see they've got that right today. Šepulin will have to wait another day. It was Šepulin's young son's birthday yesterday. He was hoping to be able to send him a gold medal, but he had to send him some silver instead. Hey, but don't worry, the pursuit's coming up on Saturday. I think that's going to be a cracking race. Šepulin, Mikey, looks sharper, he's shooting much better and consistently up there, whereas the other Russians, Svetkov and Babikov, are up one day, down the next.
And I think, as we see Svensson, I think that it was an advantage for Martin Fourcade to have the lowest number out of these three. Šepulin didn't know what he had to achieve. Martin Fourcade knew exactly what he had to achieve.
So those were the highlights from yesterday's men's sprint over 10 kilometres. The race today, 7.5. Kaisa Mäkäräinen lying in second. Yep. Dorothy Vera hasn't had a brilliant start to the season.
She had a good, remember that she got on the podium from a 19th position in the sprint all the way to third in Östersund, but not so good last weekend.
Kukalova, the defending World Cup champion from last year. Can she keep the ball rolling? Maybe she won it last year because we didn't come to NOVE MESTO and she didn't lose any points in any of the World Cup rounds.
Maybe not Pushkashikova. She did so well in Pachuca, took the bronze medal position in the sprint race last weekend and looked so good, so composed throughout that whole race.
Yeah, she's 7th in the World Cup standings. Here's Franziska Hildebrand. She's going off first today. She's been shooting okay in the sprints as we have a look at the conditions. -2, it's 1 degree colder than yesterday. The wind at 3 kilometers an hour will not be an issue unless it changes direction and strength during the race. No,
good man.
All on display. I think that's an indication of what the spirit's like here in NOVE MESTO. They love biathlon, and quite rightly so, because the Czech team have been the team that have improved the most over the last decade.
Very much. Look at the twisty, curvy course here. This is the easy part down, recovery, the final climb, and that's a significant climb prior to the 20-second recovery before the range, and that's why the climb prior to that 15-20-second recovery, I think that also was involved in the poor shooting from the men yesterday.
No, you won't be surprised to know that the favourites have decided to go off early, so they've packed groups 1. Those who couldn't get into group 1 have chosen to go in group 2. So I'm afraid from number 54 all the way down to 100, the chance of the top 10 changing are very slim indeed. Most of those athletes haven't got World Cup points. There are 2 though that we will keep an eye on. Miriam Gosner's one who goes 71, and then we've got Norway's Fanny Horn Birkeland who goes number 80. But other than that, I think we're unlikely to see any changes, and it's an issue that we talk about every single year, Mike, and every year we get the same answer from the IBU. No, the coaches and the athletes want it to stay as it is, with those the best athletes choosing which group they go in. I understand that, but this is entertainment. It's an entertainment business, and therefore it's got to be entertaining. It's not fun to have 50 athletes who aren't going to change the result of the race.
Well, on the positive, look at Denise Herrmann, the newcomer to biathlon. Her strength is her ski speed. If she can get all the targets, she will keep this alive. But I'm with you. It's loaded at the front end. Still great racing, and still an opportunity from that Group 4 for a few surprises.
Now, we've got a couple of minutes before the start of the race. An opportunity. We won't mention it again. Firstly, I should say I got the name of the report wrong yesterday. I was thinking prime ministers rather than racing cars. It's the McLaren report, not the Macmillan report. Again, more news coming out. We're going to get news every single day on this, but nice to see that the Czech Biathlon Union are making a stand.
They're making a huge stand, and I think that's the right thing. They can showcase now. They're saying we don't like what's happening. They're surprised, and it's Mr. Hamza who's in charge of the organising committee, but also in charge of Czech Biathlon, and he's really unhappy that in September especially the World Championships have been awarded to Russia, Chiman 2021. He thinks that's a bad decision. They proved the last time the world was invited to the Olympics there, lots of bad things happened in terms of cheating. A room was built, samples were tampered with. Why should they get a second chance? I would say let it be known that this is not a happy state, and I don't even support going there this season for the World Cup. I think it should move.
-2, but that hasn't dampened the spirits of the crowds here, and they all want to see Gabriela Kukalova going well. She can certainly ski well. Whether she'll hit the targets, we don't know. She's lying 5th in the World Cup standings. She's got a win already this season. She could do with another one just to close the gap down on Lara Dalma. We thought at the beginning of the season, Mike, there were 5 or 6 women who could win the overall. Dalma's absolutely laid her intentions on the line. She's 69 clear of second place, which is Macarena. Breza, the youngster from France, 88 behind. But the big names like Kukalova and Vera have got to close it down now. They can't afford Dalma going into the Christmas break with a 100-point lead.
Well, it's a huge lead, as you say, right now, about 77 points. 69 points. It's a huge doing quick maths there is not the easiest. It's incredible what Dalmayer has done. She's 3 firsts, a 2nd and a 4th. And the bad news, I think, for the rest of the field, this is the venue in which Dalmayer won her first ever World Cup. That was just 2015. Yeah,
she likes altitude, she likes tough courses, a bit like Svensson. He likes performing here. The gongs are going, and that is the countdown, of course, for the first starter. Franziska Hildebrand of Germany will be the first away. She's in Group 1. Dalma has also obviously chosen Group 1. She goes number 22. Good draw from Dalma, behind most of her big opponents. So Hildebrand, who really had great success at this time last year. She looked very, very solid in Hochfilzen. She looked good in Pokljuka last year, and it hasn't been a bad start to the season for us so far.
Zima did well last weekend. Well, not so much in the sprint. She was 28th, but moved all the way up to 11th the next day in the pursuit competition.
Are you a buff man? As in, do you wear one?
I do now. I didn't when I was racing, but I think they're fantastic.
Yeah,
just to keep you that little bit warmer.
Yeah, I did a first aid course recently, and had forgotten from the previous ones that, you know, we all think about putting on hats and keeping the head warm, but actually all the heat comes out of the neck. That's where the veins are so close to the surface. So that's why Bjorn Dahlen and many of the other athletes are wearing them nowadays.
I think Bjorn Dahlen kind of started the trend way back, late 90s, early 2000s. Thought, what on earth is he wearing? But as usual, he thinks
He's ahead of the game. Irina Kryuko now for Belarus. She hasn't quite broken into the top 10 so far this year. She was 11th in the Östersund sprint, so that's probably the race that she's thinking about at the moment. And if she goes 0-0, maybe she'll get her first top 10. Bandika for Latvia going number 4. Even if she shoots clear, she's going to struggle to win World Cup points. but you know, there are half the field here aren't likely to get World Cup points. They know they're not going to get them, Mike, but they're taking steps up a different ladder, waiting to get to that level.
Very much. But remember Bendica, though, last year when she did shoot the perfect 10 in Canada, she came in 5th position. So I know she's a little bit off her ski form, but I think she still has the potential depending on the shooting.
Now, here's Italy's number 1.
A little bit more serious today, isn't she? Normally
season.
there's a big smile on her face.
Yeah.
Well focused.
Wasn't so good in Pachuca. Went from, as you mentioned, from 19th to 3rd in the pursuit in Östersund. That was a fabulous race, hitting all 20 targets. She's quick enough to win if she shoots clear. The question is, going early, can she put enough pressure on the likes of Dalmar to mean that Dalmar can't catch her on the last lap? We will see. Julia Ransom from Canmore in Canada, which is where most of the Canadians base themselves nowadays, Mike. Lots of developments with the Olympic tracks since 1988. And actually, I thought they looked tremendous last year when the cross-country tour was out there.
What a beautiful place to live and train for Julia. What a fortunate place to base yourself forever. Julia, she's hitting 91% in the prone, but her standing's letting her down at 73%.
Marta Olsbu, as we saw at the head of this programme, made the podium in the sprint event in Pachuca with 3rd place. That was with 2 clear shots.
Before the start of the season, Patrick, I was talking to my son Scott, and I was saying, for me, Olsbu will be the real challenger this season. I know she made the podium last weekend, but she hasn't really had an electric start to this season.
Lying 13th in the standings, so it's not been consistent. We've seen 1 or 2 good runs. Here's Christina Rieder from Austria. Now, she's been shooting okay, but she's not in the top league in terms of ski speed. All the profiles that we get on the start sheet, or the extended start sheet as we call it, they say there's a little word opposite each of the athletes saying fast, medium or slow, and I'm afraid Rieder comes in the slow bracket, which means even if you shoot clear, you're not going to be in the top 10.
No, big. You need to have the ski speed in this race, the sprint competition. That is why I love the individual competition, where it's 1 minute penalty per target missed, and that gives the slower skiers an opportunity.
Jima setting the fastest time so far at 1.3, 3:28. Now, the men yesterday were at 1.3. Bjorn Dahlen was 2:57. He absolutely flew on that first lap, which was slightly surprising. Justine Brezard now, all eyes on her. If she doesn't clock the quickest time at 1.3 when she goes through, I would be very surprised indeed. She's only 20, and every single result this year has been in the top 15. A future star, without a doubt. And the French have, over the last, 15 years, Mike, you can name them all, have produced some mega stars.
Very much. I think that Brezard, for me, is looking this season as maybe the strongest ever.
Best of the French women ever?
Well, there's been a number. Dorana Baer really is the Coco from 1992 when the Olympics, when women first joined the Olympics. She was very good. They've had many.
Wisdom, 37 now. And she's really from the same era as Andrea Marley, who many of you may have seen has retired this season. Sad to see her go, but she, you know, I think she'd be happy to admit she was just hanging on because she loved the sport. She wasn't hanging on because she thought she might win or get any better than she was the previous season.
And she loved training, Andrea Marley, and she, remember, she came 6th at the Olympics in cross-country and sprint competition, so she's been around a long time. Gwisdorn, you mentioned as she started, she's had 2 wins in her career. She's 37-year-old now. I'd love for her to get back into winning ways, or top 10 ways. She's had a decent start to the season.
Lisa Theresa Hauser, tall, strong, skiing much quicker. Actually, the Austrian pairing of Hauser and Rieder not doing too badly this year. I think mixed relay at the World Championships in Hogfilsen, you could do worse than putting your money on a podium finish for the host nation.
Yeah, I'm just looking at changing the subject. Would you race with earrings in? I don't think I would like to. They just get in the way of the rifle, putting the rifle back on, but it looks good.
So square. Now, Marie Durand-Hebert. Let's see what she can produce today. She's fourth in the rankings at the moment, 92 points adrift of Laura Dahlmeier. She won the second race of the year, which was of course the first sprint. She looked solid in that, but then dropped to 7th in the pursuit, which I think knocked her confidence a little. And then we didn't really see anything special from her in Pachuca either. Hildebrand, the first to start, the first to reach the range, and with 7 minutes on the clock, we're looking for a time of what, around 22, 23 minutes for the total time today. 21:43 the winning time in Pachuca. Just trying to remember what the winning time was here last time we raced here.
World Championships when they raced here, of course Pegrushna winning that one, it was 21 minutes and 2 seconds.
And then 21:33, Laura Dahlmeier, her first ever win, and that was here in February 2015. Oh, nice and central.
Very central. I thought Hildebrand looked agitated. We saw her getting her rifle checked in. Her facial expressions looked like something was annoying her. That doesn't always help you when you're trying to shoot well, but she shot beautifully. She adjusted her sights, accounting for the wind dropping a little compared to when she zeroed 25 minutes ago.
Shima skiing fast, still with the fastest time at 1.3, but being 3 seconds quicker than everyone else. 1.3 is an absolute waste if you're going to throw away 2 shots. That's an extra 300 meters, so some 50 seconds at least.
Well, Shima missed 2 in this race in Östersund. She missed 2 in this race in Pachuca. She's missed 2 again. Frolina, well, interesting. Formerly Anna, name is completely gone. She came 4th at the Olympic Games in Vancouver. Bulkina, she formerly raced for Russia. Now she's racing for Korea. Hasn't quite got the same magic she had back in 2010.
Now, Veronika Vitkova is going to experience something that I'm not sure she's had before. 25,000 in the stands. Just listen to that. Wow. And imagine, Mike, what it's going to be like when Vitkova comes in for the first shoot. It's no wonder that Kukalova struggles with shooting here. Very much.
Yeah, when you know that everybody's rooting for you, shouting for you, it must be very difficult to switch that sound off.
Vera lucky with number 4. She settles for 5. Still, it was close to the edge. That's the end of the prone shooting. I suspect that if she was going to shoot again, there would have been some instructions from the coaches.
Well, it was on the edge, wasn't it? What a pity. Dorothy Vera, she's admitted, she said, oh, when I was younger, I didn't care. I would come in, I would just shoot, let it happen. I wouldn't think. She said the annoying thing now as she's getting older is she's hesitating. Just instead of letting it react, she's actually thinking about it. And I think that's why she's had a couple of bad sprints this season.
Well, that's something you were mentioning with Johannes Tingesbo yesterday. He's a sort of reflex man, isn't he? Not a care in the world. Come in, do your bit, big smile, know you can win. And now with Mazet in charge, there's definitely more purpose about his shooting. It remains to be seen. It may work for him, you know, but it's not going to happen overnight.
It's not. It takes time. I thought the way Dorana Bear started, for me, she was the fastest over the first 200 meters, but she's really lost a lot of pace there at 10 seconds.
So Dahlmeier starting behind Dorana Bear, behind Vitkova, behind Breza, behind Dorothy Vera, behind Hildebrand. What a position. Looking for what could be her 4th win of the season. She's had 3 wins, 1 second, 1 fourth, and that is the sort of consistency that no one else can match at the moment. Susan Dunkley, so much potential. Now, if you were coaching her, Mike, what would you do? Because there's no doubt she's got World Cup win potential in her.
I think she has, absolutely has. And she did do well last weekend. The 11th position in Pachuca, that was 10 out of 10. And we saw her, she was very fast in Östersund. She seems to have dropped off a little in terms of ski speed.
Well, I said Brezard would be the quickest up to 1.3. She's not. She's not far off, though. She's only half a second behind Julia Zima. But Zima has gone and missed 2 targets on the first shoot. Brezard knows she needs better than that.
Actually, Patrick, just prior to the range, Brezard has turned that around. She's got a 7-second lead on Zima. So Brezard the fastest. Her right elbow. These mats can be a little slippy with these lycra suits on. She was took a little bit of time making that comfortable.
Slightly low. Well, that looked very low.
That was very low. I love this camera shot where you can see the support of the left hand up against the hand stop.
Again, just scraping all 4 shots, scraping inside the bottom edge of the target. And number 5, just the same, but they've all gone down. If that hadn't been a brilliant grouping, she would have had penalties.
Very much. The wind died off a little at the end there, but the wind from the left is very much dropping the fall of the shot down around 5 o'clock for Brezard.
So from 7 seconds ahead, she's now only 0.2. And Vera, she was, what was she? She was 10 seconds clear of Vera. So Vera shooting 10 seconds quicker. That's incredible. Magdalena Guisdon now. Can she use her experience? Mike, any reason why you think most of those that we've focused in on have been shooting low? We've only got 1 target with the close-up on it.
Yes, the wind has changed from the 0 25 minutes ago, and that's why the wind fluctuating, but a little stronger at times from the left, putting the targets, the shots, low right. Scardino, remember that medal in Sochi at the Olympics in the individual race? Never the fastest skier, Scardino, but normally one of the best shots.
Yeah, big mix of results so far this year. 43rd in the season opener, then she went 8th in the sprint the following day. But we nearly always have to rule out that individual in Östersund, Mike, because it's traditionally the strongest wins of the year, and we see people missing more than 50% of the targets. What about Lisa Theresa Hauser? The shooting speed is good, the ski speed coming in
is poor, 25 seconds off the pace. Is that a form thing? Is that a ski equipment thing? Did she fall?
It could be a fall. That's the sort of margin, because she's much quicker than that, and we'll see whether she can pick it up on the second lap. Duran Hebert of France, right to left as she goes. Much lower position than we see from some of them. Hauser really piling the pressure on as she leads the stadium. Good cheer from her, and it's not going to be long before Vitkova's in for her first shoot, so just get your ear defenders on, because the reception is going to be tremendous. Duran Hebert, not the quickest shoot. 7:40 has gone. Her teammate, my goodness, Brezard is on such good form. And she's only 20, so by the time she's 26, 27, Mike, assuming she stays with Biathlon, she's going to be as quick as anyone we've got on the tour at the moment.
I think so. And for Duran Hebert going round the corner there, she looks stiff, she looks uncomfortable on her skis. Yeah. I think she's very tired.
Yeah, I thought she looked as though she was going right onto the edge of the right-hand ski in particular, which is something we've talked about, but surely too much angulation on the ski to enable the ski to glide properly. Now, here's someone who has got an advantage over Lara Delmar, Kaisa Mäkäräinen. It's a good start position for her, but I'm not sure if it were me, Mike, I'd want any information about the opposition until I'd finished the second shoot. Why add psychological pressure to a race that is already packed full of it?
Yes, and the athletes, Mäkäräinen, all the athletes, they know what's happening out there. You definitely need splits on the last rotation of 2.5 kilometers.
Vitkova's arriving.
Poor Vitkova, that noise, racing at home. She can deal with it well normally when she races here. Is it putting Hildebrand off? I don't think so.
Well, anyone who doubts whether there should be equal pay for prize money in terms of men and women, I have to tell you here that we've got an extra 5,000 spectators for the women's sprint on top of what we had for the men's sprint yesterday. Some of that will be due to the fact that people have come down for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but it just shows you the attraction of Vitkova and Kukalova here.
Oh, huge attraction. And I think Kukalova, in terms of winter sports, she is the face of winter sports in Czech Republic. So famous.
Now, just watch and listen. This will be tough. Well done. Well done, Veronika Vitkova. Great shooting, just what she needed to get the crowd on her side even more, if that's possible. And she comes out slightly behind, but she's within 7-8 seconds of the leader. 7.1 the margin, and a brilliant start for the local. Now, Dorothy Vera, 10 out of 10. Oh, she's thrown number 1 wide.
She was leading Hildebrand by 17 seconds into the range. Look how she's had to rebuild, refocus, reconcentrate, and look at her hair. It is blowing in the wind. The wind played its part.
Well, that's part of the game, Mike, and keeping half an eye on the wind, so important.
Listen to the roar now.
Scared rabbit, or is she confident?
She'll be aware that Vitkova managed to clear all 5, and maybe she'll feel more pressure.
Well, that was a really sluggish start. I didn't quite understand why she had the poles behind the timing one, not wide and out to the side, to allow you to really get the pressure down through the pole.
It was a very hesitant start, wasn't it? Is that the fear of this big pressure scenario?
Dama, have a look at the time. This is quick. We've got a new leader, I think, coming out. She wasn't the quickest coming in. She was only 3.4 outside, but Breza took her time in the range. And Laura Dama is going to go, what, at least 4 seconds, or 3 seconds inside. It's 3.2 and 7:37, the new target time as the German looks for win number 4 of the season. Dunkley is quick as well.
Very quick, 5th fastest out of 23 who've already been in as she entered the range.
Now, she
Beautiful.
might match that 7:37. She's got 11 seconds to do it. Out she goes. Wasn't shooting in lane number 1, which would have made life a little bit easier.
Well, she stuck to the lane that they zeroed on. The Americans ranked down at that 10th to 13th position. That's a good time for Dunkley.
Really encouraging. I'd like to see her a little lighter on her feet. You know, lots of figure of 8 training, just a bit more dynamic, particularly coming out of the range. It doesn't look as though she accelerates as quick as many.
Not really, but she's got the strength. Once she's up to pace, I think she's got a phenomenal strength and technical ability when she gets up to pace.
But biomechanically, I'm just trying to work out, it doesn't seem that there's anything coming out of the feet. The legs, the glutes are all incredibly strong. The arm muscles are strong, but there's nothing coming out of the feet. And you look at all the best skiers on the male circuit, there's so much dynamic movement with the foot.
That's where the energy comes from, isn't it? The extension, the final extension. Breza's having a real bad day in the standing.
Well, there goes her chance of another top 10, but again, she's shown us just how fast she can ski. Perhaps the start just that fraction too early as we watch Taya Grigorian losing her teammate Andrea Marley. Those two have been sharing rooms for, what, 15 years?
Long time. It's a very small sport in Slovenia, but they've done so well for a small nation over many years. Grigorian, I thought last weekend, did so well in the relay. She did so well in the pursuit, 0-0-0, but missed 2 the last time in. And a good start here.
That was what I call an individual shoot.
Very careful, wasn't it? Thomas Koss just letting all the staff on the course know it was a very careful shoot, wasn't it? But when it's a millimetre rear sight, I know you can open it up to 1.6 with a diopter. It's very difficult in this light to get a good sight picture.
Claire Egan just going through the standing shoot as the crowd, what are they responding to? Just having a look. I think it's Shalvatova who's just starting, because Vitkova shouldn't be in for a minute or so. Vitkova will be down for her second shoot fairly shortly, and there is a chance that she'll come in as Kukalova comes in for her prone shoot.
Well, when Scardino misses, you can just tell in Breza, we saw her miss too. I think it shows how difficult these conditions are for shooting.
Yeah, the wind has definitely picked up. You can see well, some of the flags are flying because they're being waved furiously by the fans, but others are fluttering. Those are the ones that you want to keep an eye on, those little red telltales in the range area. And it's not just strength that's changed, Mike. The direction is changing all the time.
And Vanessa hints her body language as soon as she went on the penalty. Gutted.
Poskarchikova taking full advantage of her local knowledge here. Marie Duranabert with a miss. She can't afford another one if she wants a top 5. She's got 4 out of the 5 in the stand position, and now she's got to do what she has been able to do in the past, which is to ski herself out of trouble. But I'm not convinced she's in that sort of form at the moment. Kaisa Mäkäräinen, she is on good form. We know that. Oh.
Out on the track though, Kukalova is faster than Mäkäräinen. Of course, she started just behind Mäkäräinen. Sorry, just in front of Mäkäräinen. Kuzmina, sorry, started just in front of Mäkäräinen.
Yeah, Kukalova was 2.5 minutes behind. .22.38, the target time set by Franziska Hildebrand, and
no,
you know, it's not bad.
With the way the big names are shooting, that could stand the test of time for a podium.
Not sure it's going to win. In terms of coming out of shoot 1, we've got Dalmar on 7.37. Hildebrand was 15 seconds behind that, so Dalmar can afford a miss, and she'll still close the gap on her teammate.
I think out on the track, actually, the last lap, Dorothy Vera has gone ahead of Hildebrand's time.
No, Pochifarova.
Into the range, Pochifarova 24 seconds off the pace. Good flowing reactive shooting, no thought process there, pure reaction. When the sight falls, she inhaled quite a lot, so the end of the rifle dropped down, and beautiful timing to squeeze the trigger at the right moment. 19 seconds off. Well, the time is good into the range. Vitkova maybe not matched the fastest.
Good run from Dorothy Vera, showed good strength on that final loop. Remember, she missed one target and Hildebrand was clear, so she's taken 30 seconds out of Hildebrand in terms of shooting. That one miss, you heard the groan from the crowd. I think they thought it had gone down. It was very, very close for Vitkova, but it could prove costly.
That was fast, Kukalova.
Look at the time. Look at the time. 21, 22, 23, 24. She's comfortably inside. A lead, a massive lead for Gabriela Kukalova. And when you've got 10 seconds after just one loop, you have to start thinking that the pacing might not quite be right. Now, Dalmar can switch the pressure back onto the locals now with a good clear shoot, but a nervy shoot, Mike, and it's got to her.
It has absolutely got to her. She heard the audience there shouting for Kukalova. She'd have been aware that Kukalova was shooting so fast.
Oh,
well.
Two misses, and although the crowd very respectful, that would be something worth cheering for, because Dalmar, without a doubt, the biggest danger for Gabriela Kukalova.
Well, wait, I thought they were very disrespectful. I heard them cheer when that last target missed.
No, that wasn't a cheer.
But that's surprising, Dalmar. Really surprising. Well, she's won 3 so far this season. She's not going to win another today, surely, with that performance.
About Susan Dunkley? Just trying to have a look at the pulse watch, see what she's working at. She's been skiing well. Looks so solid this season. Lots of work on the standing shoot over the summer. Now she's going to struggle. Every muscle in her body wanting oxygen.
This could be the lead time, Patrick.
Yeah, that delay certainly worthwhile. Vera on 15:53. She's going to be bettered by at least 20 seconds.
Because remember, Vera missed the target. Hildebrand shot clear. Breza missed 2. Well, great job.
Look at that, 20.1 the margin, and the American in a position that she hasn't been in since the end of last season when she did so well out in Canada. Or America, the North American Tour, certainly playing to her advantage. Breza pips Vera to take the lead for now, 22.17. And bear in mind that Breza missed one more target than Dorothy Vera. She is sensationally quick. I think the French have done really well with the skis as well this season, Mike, because they all seem to be gaining on the downhills. And I know downhill technique is crucially important for gaining the odd second here or there, but because it's so consistent that they gain on the downs, I suspect that the technicians have cracked the snow so far this year. Vitozzi, Dorothy Vera's teammate.
Well, so many struggling in the stand position especially. Vitozzi really having to work to keep the rifle steady. 2 penalties. She'll be disappointed. Vitozzi, look at the pace she's coming out. Normally, if you've got a chance of a podium, there's much more aggressive attack off the shooting mat to get your ski poles on. You want to engage the arms quickly after coming off the shooting mat. And the spirit, you can just feel how much the spirit has dropped down for Vitozzi, missing those 2 targets. Well, Kukalova still, after the first shoot, has that 10.3 second lead. Kimova, 3rd place, 11 seconds behind.
It's tight, it's very tight. So Kukalova now 13.3 ahead. When she came out of the range, she was
10 seconds.
Leading by 10, so she's still gaining on Lara Dalmar's time, and Dalmar we know has missed twice. Dalmar is no longer the danger woman. Lisa Theresa Hauser coming home, 22.50 with just 1 miss, so some of the speed we saw at the beginning of the season deserting her, but it's still a respectable performance. Durana Bear, 22.31, 32, 14.8 outside, 1 miss costing her. So her teammate Breza has taken what, Mike? That is, to me, that looks like 35 seconds she's skied out of Marie Durana Bear.
Quite incredible. Breza has improved so much. That's with 2 penalties. Breza.
I think the Czechs will be disappointed there isn't a relay this week, because the Czechs are looking great. Vitkova going well. Kukalova we know about. Now let's see how Shavatova gets on. Time still respectable, but that's blown it.
You see, she
way over to the right.
She's realigning her body, but I think she needs to. Well, maybe the alignment has helped. I was going to say she may need to adjust her sights. Got it in the end.
Well, that's interesting, because she was what, a centimetre out to the right, just switched the body, and then she was over on that left-hand side.
Exactly. She moved her hips 1 or 2 centimetres to the right. Therefore, alignment is crucial. Every sniper is taught that, is about body alignment. If there's tension through the body, the rifle feels it. Well, I was about to say it's a good time from Mäkäräinen, but she needs 5 for the win. And Dunkley, remember, has 20-second lead on anyone else after the stand shoot.
So Mäkäräinen almost up at 15.33. She needed to be clear to challenge. I can't see her taking a full 150 metres out of Dunkley on the last lap. It's going to be another solid performance. So let's just update you. Dunkley, Vera, Hildebrand, Breza, Dalmar, the leading 5 after the first shoot. Of course, Makarainen has yet to come off the penalty loop, so we don't know what her time's going to be. And Monnier, is she going to keep this French train rolling? That's a shame. That's a shame, but today that is pretty much average. 1, 2, 3 athletes so far of the 31 that have been, 32 now that have been through, have only 3 athletes have hit. So we're at 10% in terms of clear shooting.
Just saw Tyrol Ekhoff just settling on the mat, bib number 50.
Fialkova of Slovakia worth keeping an eye out for as we watch Veronika Vitkova coming in towards the finish. Hildebrand survives, top 6, yes, 5th position for Veronika Vitkova and 23.2 outside. 1 penalty loop, she would have had the lead. Now, this is crucial. The race leader, Gabriela Kukalova, and Dunkley has gone clear and exited in 15:33. She can take her time, but I'm not sure she can afford a miss. The nerves have got to her before.
Look at the clock, she's still okay with 1 miss.
Not now. Come on, let's have the last 2. 1. Oh, meltdown for Kukalova. Is she skiing too fast, or has she let the occasion get to her?
Zdeněk Vítek is disappointingly just radioing all the other staff saying, can you believe it? 3 targets missed. I don't think they'll believe it.
3 misses. Wow. Well, that's dire, and to see Dalmar missing 2, and despite that, Dalmar's time is unbelievable. She's going to go inside Brezar. Wow, 22:15, and Brezar missed 2 actually, so those 2 now skiing at the same speed.
Look at Dalmar shaking her head, not believing.
Watch this, here comes the race leader and potential winner. Is it going to be the greatest day for American women's biathlon for a long, long time, or ever, I think, fair to say? Susan Dunkley, 22:04. They may have to go under 22 minutes to win this one.
Well done, Susan. Whoa, outstanding, 10 out of 10, strength on the tracks.
Incredible performance from Dunkley, and she still has a lead of 20 seconds after the second shoot. No one's got anywhere near her.
Gasparin, Selena that is, there's a few Gasparins in the race, could change things.
I think this is going to be a week for records, Mike. Yesterday, Martin Fourcade becoming the only man to win all 3 sprints before Christmas. No one's ever done that before, but he got the triple and he got it in some style. I know the margins weren't huge, but it was another incredible performance, and we're looking to see what he can do in the pursuit tomorrow. With Laura Dalmar picking up pace on the last loop, Mike, that means that no one's going to do too much damage to her lead in the World Cup. And Ace Bescon, can she get anywhere close? She can. Remember, she's still got some 70 meters to ski before the clock will stop, so she's not going to match Dunkley.
She'll be chasing.
Akimova of Russia, Mike, has gone out 15:35. Now, that's a bit of a surprise. Vera on 15:53 is the person who was 20 seconds behind. So Akimova only 2 seconds behind Susan Dunkley, and having started after her, she is on the chase.
1.5, you're right, after the stand shoot, it's possible.
Well, we'll see at 6.3 what's going on there. Yeah, we mentioned again the McLaren report and the Czech Republic's response. The Czech Biathlon Union not happy with the fact that the World Championships have been awarded to Tumen for 21.
It was a big press conference, wasn't it? This morning it was a surprise press conference.
I think they were saying, look, let's not give it to Russia until they prove that they've cleaned up biathlon, because they don't want biathlon to be one of the sports that is always looked at and everyone thinking, well, are they clean, aren't they? And actually that would help for all the Russians, because every time you see a good performance from the Russians, and we've seen a few already this season, there's just one massive great question mark.
It's so sad, it really saddens me. And on the front page of the Norwegian main paper today, it states 31 biathletes in this McLaren report. But I am happy to say the IBU are having a meeting on the 22nd of December to discuss this whole thing, and at the moment the names are not released.
Fialkova started well and blew it, as did Kukalova. It's easily done, and once you let the mind take over, you've really got no chance at all. Kaisa Mäkäräinen, what she managed to do, 2 misses, 15.4. It's a good effort from Kaisa Mäkäräinen. Fastest up the climb, but she's only got another 500 metres to go, and she will not claw back that 15 seconds. We've got to keep an eye out.
Sorry, it was 35, Patrick. She's pulled back a huge amount of time on Susan.
On the climb, Mike, and there's only one. I know it's a tough climb around the back of the stadium, but it's not long enough to get 15 seconds.
She's running out of space, isn't she?
It only
really
takes 30.
She's running out of space to do that.
And have we got another update on Akimova, who started number 37?
She's not through the 6.3 marker yet, Akimova.
Puskachikova just finishing. Dunkley, Dalmar, Brazar, Vera, the leading positions. Mäkäräinen just going into third as she comes across the line. 13.1, so she gained a little bit in those last 500. It didn't take her long. She knew she had to try and do the damage on the climb. She did her best, and actually, having come out of the second shoot down in 9th position, Mäkäräinen's got herself up into the top 3, so that is a tremendous final lap. Even she can't afford to miss 2.
Glazrina starting with the middle target, working left, and now over to the 4th target, which she missed, and got the last one. But 2 penalties in the prone as well.
Well, I can tell you that Susan Dunkley cannot celebrate yet, because Akimova of Russia has gone ahead. 0.9 the margin, so that will somewhat dampen the spirits of the American team, and I think it's just going to mean this discussion goes on and on and on. Sharvatova, what can she do? 2 misses in the prone, 2 already in the stand.
She's fairly new to biathlon. Let's give her some credit. She's a fast skier, but it takes a long time to learn the skills of biathlon.
Yeah, and I think you would agree, Mike, most coaches would rather have a strong skier and teach them to shoot rather than the good shot and teach them to ski.
Yeah, no, absolutely. When you've got the ski speed there, you can quite easily, I believe, teach 99% of people how to cope with the pressures and the skills in biathlon.
Well, credit to Kukalova, who despite the fact that she's missed is digging deep, but look who's behind her. Titania Akimova is right in the wake of Kukalova, and she's been a little bit lucky, and in fact she pulls to the left. She's going to go past her. Well, this is astonishing from Akimova of Russia.
She was 30th in Östersund, she was 29th in Pokljuka, both times missing 1. So really has picked her ski pace up as well.
Best race so far this season was 12th, and that came in the first race of the year, where most people had trouble with the shooting. Well, I have to say, I feel gutted for Susan Dunkley, because that was the best race we've ever seen from her.
Yes, Akimova had 3.2 seconds last time of looking, just the final 100 meters now.
Well, let's see what sort of reception Akimova gets. I don't hear too much shouting. In fact, I don't hear any at all.
I think I hear the opposite.
Yeah, whistles, boos. Titania Akimova, well, this might be a genuine performance, and in which case we need to congratulate her. She's taken 5 seconds out of Susan Dunkley in the last, 600 meters, so that's been a phenomenal run. But question marks. And it's, none of her doing, as far as we know. But this is the joy of being in the Russian team at the moment. Kukalova, a shrug of the shoulders now, Mike. Had she not missed in the stand, where would she have come in?
Well, if she would have won the race. She was only 36 seconds off. If she'd missed one, I think she could have won the race.
Yeah, do you think pushing, you know, we saw her 10 seconds ahead after the first lap. Do you think she overcooked it a little? I know she didn't slow down much, but did that affect her shooting?
Do you know, I'm with you. I don't think it did. She took such a long time. I think she bought herself recovery time. She did. She took a long time getting into position. She settled her breathing. It appeared that way. So I just think that she cooked herself with pressure. She realized she could win this one with hitting 4 out of 5 in the standing. She only hit 2 out of 5.
Anaïs Bescon, 22-12. At least she's hit all the targets, and it may well earn her a top 10. She's going to have to keep pushing. We've got Durana Bear on 22-32. She's going to beat her teammate and pushes Durana Bear down to 8. Bescon goes 7. So 3 French women in the top 8 at the moment. Good day for them. Selena Gasparin. This is good. This is really good. It was. It was.
That was a potential winner, but now she's dropped herself down below top 10, I would say, with 2 targets missed.
Now we've got, of those who've started late, Chevalier of France also going well after the first shoot. She has gone into 8th position, and Selena Gasparin, former World Cup winner, of course. Now this is who we were waiting for, Miriam Gusner. 50% hit rate in the stand. It needs to be closer to 90 if she's going to get back to her winning ways.
At the World Championships here, she missed 2 and still came 6th. That's when she could outski most people.
So she's missed 2 already, but already Kukalova's time has gone. She's 10 seconds outside that, add another 50. So Miriam Gusner's not going to feature in the top positions. Look at those standings after the first shoot, only 18 seconds separating the top 10. But as we know, it's Akimova of Russia who leads in the finish area. Well, these are the standings after the second shoot. Dunkley, Akimova, Bescon, Vera, Preutz. Franziska Preutz, late start. Keep an eye out for her in the charge. 24 behind with 1 miss. So she's skiing at the same sort of speed as Susan Dunkley. And if she hits all 5 in the stand, she will almost certainly join the top 5 at the end. And still, we have another 9 athletes to start. Svetlana Sleptsova of Russia.
Well, with Akimova at the moment leading the way, that could inspire Sleptsova to something special. Just thinking of Susan Dunkley at the moment, she has had a podium, 2 podium positions in her career. She's had a 3rd place in 2014 in Oslo in the sprint competition, and she's had a 2nd place last year in Presque Isle in the sprint competition. Megan Tandy. Ski speed was okay, was quite good. Yelchenko, based out of Minsk, bad start to miss your first shot. Needs to compose herself now. Pulse rate is quite low, it's only on 150 beats a minute at the moment. Oh, that's a pity. 2 targets missed is too many. Grekova. Now this is a good time. Needs all the targets though, and she's missed the 4th one. And nailed the 5th one. Still an opportunity there for a top 10 position.
So Preutz, how is she doing on this final lap? 1 miss in the stand, really ruining her chance of challenging the top 5. But, you know, I think at the end of the day, she'll be happy with a top 10, and it puts her in a great position for the pursuit. Incidentally, if you missed the programme, Sprint Pursuit mass start. It's a cracking weekend, and NOVE MESTO deserve to have the 2 most exciting races on the calendar here.
I think so. When you can fill a stadium with 25,000 spectators, it's a great atmosphere. A very knowledgeable audience as well here.
So Tyrolekov, style that's easy to recognise. That right hand coming right across the forehand. 37.1 outside with 2 misses. So the ski speed is coming back. That's good news for the Norwegians. But both men and women on the Norwegian team, Mike, just throwing the odd shot here or there, and that's costing them the wins.
Very, very expensive. Tyra will take 1 target away from her performance, and she, quite honestly, would have been podium. She would have been 16 seconds behind, and that's podium business today.
And Preutz into 8th position, so Durana Bear still hanging on in the top 10. Lying 10th at the moment is Amonier. So we got France in 10 and 9 and 7 and 5. The dominant team so far today, but it's Russia who topped the table with Titania Akimova with her first ever win. If it stays that way, Susan Dunkley missing out again. She got a 2nd place last year. How she would have loved to have been #1 today. She's going to have to do something special in the pursuit. And with the standing shooting looking much better, Mike, she now has a chance, whereas prior to this, I wouldn't really have rated her chances.
Oh, looking so strong today. Difficult day for shooting. When you look at the fact that only, I think we've only got about 5 people so far at the finish who've hit the perfect 10. There were only 9, I think it was, 10 maybe men last night who shot the perfect score.
Anaïs Chevalier. And while we watch Anaïs, just a quick thank you to all of you for sending in emails. Our account's been busier than ever. We haven't really mentioned it because the racing's been so good. But 85–90% of all the emails are about the McLaren report. Lots of you pointing out that the biathlon have, not the biathlon, the bobsleigh have refused to compete in Russia. And they're not people power, but competitor power has taken over. The federations have had to change their minds on that one.
Well, I totally support that well, and I hope there's a mini little rebellion here to say let's move this World Cup.
And one other email coming in from Becca, I think it is, Mike, saying, where on earth is Daria Domracheva? I thought she had a year off last year. Well, it was some year off, getting married, having a baby. Give her a break. She will be back. We're thinking she's going to be back, hopefully, in time for the World Championships.
Very much. While we're talking there, Patrick, of course, Chevalier has now moved out into 1st position after the stand shoot. Not the fastest of skiers. She's got 1:3.3 ahead of Dunkley and 2.8 seconds ahead of Akimova.
Well, once again, the drop of a degree or 2, I suspect making the tracks that little bit quicker, but you would have thought that was negated by the fact that the corners and the uphills are just broken up a little bit.
You can see the athletes searching for more compact snow. When you've got a metre of machine-made snow, it becomes very much like very broken crystals, and as the race goes on, it definitely has become deeper, more difficult skiing.
Now, older sister Selena missed 2 in the stand. I think she missed 2 and 4.
Aita has added extra weight, probably about 100 grams at the end of her barrel. I think that's sensible when the wind is playing its part today.
That's not a bad shoot at all. 9 out of 10, 90%, which is what the very best have come the end of the season.
Look at the flags in the stand position. They're very, very calm right now. It's a good moment, a good minute or so, a window of opportunity.
Okay, so Miriam Gustner, Mike missed in the prone. What are we saying?
Well, there's me just saying a good window of opportunity. There's no wind at the moment, but I still think she'll miss one. I hope she clears all.
Good start.
There's one. Look at the movement in the barrel. She's really fighting for this.
Yeah, 4 and 5 are the targets she so often misses. She hits 4, misses 5, so 2. We'll take even honours on that one. 2 and 2 from Miriam Gustner. It would be so nice to see her up there and get some confidence back with the rifle. What about a year off skiing and just do the shooting?
I know she's been worked, so much work has gone into shaping her in the stand shoot especially, but it's not coming together today.
Okay, a year off shooting, just do the cross-country skiing.
Now there you go. Well, they did bring her in at the Olympics, didn't they, from biathlon to cross-country, and took a medal. I think it was a silver medal in 2010 in Vancouver.
Jana Bondar. Now we're trying to track Anaïs Chevalier of France, who has the lead after the second shoot. She hasn't gone through 6.3, but she's going to have to produce the ski performance of her life if she's going to match Akimova and Dunkley. And if she doesn't get first, Mike, she's highly unlikely to get second either. But there is a big gap back to Lara Dalmar, who's in third at the moment.
Only 10 more to come in to shoot the prone after Jana Bondar. She missed the last shot just at 3 o'clock. Amanda Lightfoot for British fans, and Amanda, it's good to see she's missed one unfortunately in the prone, sitting about midfield. Amanda should be in very soon for her stand shoot.
Well, here comes Chevalier up to 6.3, and she's only 1.8 outside. That is close enough if she's got anything left in the legs for a sprint when it comes. Now, if she can stay within 2 or 3 seconds to the top of the climb, she still has a chance. It's a slim one, but she has a chance, having left the range after her second shoot with a lead of 1.3. So she's given away 3 seconds over, what, the last kilometre. Well, we're still waiting for the confirmation of Chevalier's time to come up on our computer. Now, here's another former cross-country skier, and you can see from the time that she is not slow. That's very good skiing.
German team so competitive, isn't it? That the fast skier that Hermann is, she's always given the last group option. She has to learn her trade before she gets the bonus of being given a more preferred grouping.
But perhaps Norway, the only other team that promote and demote athletes between the IBU Cup and the World Cup. Hermann knows that 2 bad performances on the trot, she'll be back to the IBU Cup, so the pressure is on.
I think it's a good policy from Gerald Honig to keep swapping athletes if they do well at IBU Cup. And Hermann, of course, won the first sprint there.
Oh, she's starting to shake. That's unusual in the prone, but it may be a psychological thing. It's gone down. That saved her 150 metres, although she lost a couple of seconds. And the time, well, look at that, Mike. In the shooting alone, she has lost 15 seconds.
Oh, and that's how long it takes to get used to that crazy set of skills to shoot while you're totally out of breath.
Chevalier on the charge. Is she going to be able to do something about it? It's going the wrong way from 1.3 to 2.4 at 7 kilometres, 500 metres remaining. This is the last of the climbs. She'll come up to the top of this and break left and then head down towards the stadium. She's got to find the sprint from somewhere. And everyone, Mike, everyone has a sprint in them.
Very much. You could hardly hear the coach there with all the spectators up that final climb. 2.4, Patrick, it's not much. She really needs to attack this last piece.
Well, 2.4 will put her into second place. It's first, second or third for Chevalier as she comes under the stand into the stadium. You can just see her with the French colours. Here she is. Now, is there anything left in the legs? They look very, very wooden at the top of that last climb. It's mighty difficult to pull back 0.2 of a second, let alone 2.4. 21.58, she's lost it. Dunkley on 22.04, she's inside that. Second place for Anaïs Chevalier. We have 4 French women in the top, 11 positions, in fact the top 10. The top 10, that is phenomenal.
It is, and it's all down, I think, to the really good shooting. Only Doran Abert, and of course
Breza missed 2. Doran Abert missed 1. The other 2 missed none.
Well done, Chevalier. That's great news for the French team. Another podium position from an outsider.
How come they didn't win the relay last Sunday in Pachuca? So the standings now, and just to check, coming through shoot number 2, we still have to keep half an eye on Birkeland of Norway, who's in 5th place, but the margin's 19 seconds, so I don't think she's going to change the top 4. She might get into 5th. Well, we're drawing towards the close. Let's have a look, and looking at the standings after the first shoot, you can see the number 80 belonging to Fanny Horn Birkeland of Norway. She's having a stormer, 12.3 outside at that stage. She's also shot reasonably well in the stand, but that one miss costing her a shot at the win, I think. Last time we saw, she was 19 seconds off the pace. Chevalier going through 6.3 at 19.10. She's now 24.5 and fighting for a position in the top 10.
Pulse rate of 170 for Rykova. And she managed that so well. Well, that's 16 minutes. She's looking probably for, what, a top 15? Maybe a top 20 finish.
Eckhoff 16th and Rykova still in the top 20. Good World Cup points. World Cup points going to the top 40, as I'm sure you're well aware. 40th position gets you 1. First position still gets you 60, which is slightly out of kilter with all the other winter sports. But if you can be bothered to sit down and calculate whether the World Cup winner would be the same using the FIS system or using the IBU system, generally, Mike, it's the same winner on top.
Interesting. Well, that's where it's 100,
180, 60, 50.
80, 60,
with
yeah.
us, obviously, 60 for a win.
Nikolaisen, sorry,
54.
one of the Norwegians there getting the perfect score, Nikolaisen, but 53 seconds off the pace after just 5 kilometers. Just trying to track back where Schleptsova placed after the prone shoot.
I've seen at least 9 athletes who've shot the perfect score so far. Bondar is not one of them. A penalty early on, but she'll be delighted to have cleared all 5 in the stand, and it keeps her just outside the minute. Now that's relevant because the pursuit tomorrow, it means that she's going to start roughly a minute behind first place, which currently is Akimova. Birkeland, Mike, isn't going to change the order of the top 3 now, over 25 seconds behind the leaders, and that could actually push her all the way down into 9th place.
So tight, isn't it? Here she is. Looks a little bit, you mentioned how the corners are breaking up. Oh, she took that so wide, her legs are spent. And so they should be. Every coach would demand that of their athletes.
Well, that's something that you don't see it with Fourcade. You know, a few people commenting that, you know, he's finishing these races and making it look easy, notching up these victories, even when he chases down 15 seconds on the last lap.
Do you know, that's such a relevant comment, because yesterday, actually, when he pulled that 14-15 back, for me, he was the most exhausted that I've ever seen him at the end of any race. You know, he was very emotional. He was very, I don't know what he said, but he was just saying, look, I can still do it from a long way back.
So there are the standings at the finish. We might see, in fact, with Birkeland there in 9th, I don't think we're going to see any changes now. The top 3 have all shot the perfect score. Dalmar, Makarainen, the 2 fastest, both missing 2 apiece. Even they can't ski themselves out of that sort of trouble. And Kukalova, the crowd favourite, down in 13th with 3 misses on the stand. She's going to find it difficult to get to sleep tonight. But somehow, Mike, she's got to get over that and come back tomorrow with a completely different frame of mind.
Oh, very much. And yeah, some days you just don't feel like it's there. Racing at night, now I know a lot of the athletes, your whole summer preparation has been your main session in the morning, second session in the afternoon, sometimes 3 sessions, but rarely. And this is against all that routine that athletes have built in. I know it was much the same in Östersund, but there's a lot of fatigue now just prior to Christmas.
But the atmosphere has been brilliant.
Oh,
50% of the spectators here couldn't come if it was held during the day. So you've got to support the later start.
I totally support these late starts, brings the spectators in, and what a day for America and Susan Dunkley.
She's on the podium, and she'll have to satisfy herself with that. There must have been a moment when she thought she had got the victory.